Welcome back to Unique Originality Channel. So today's video is about the insights I didn't get to provide in my video called Unfolding Hidden Potential. If you haven't seen it, go watch it before you watch this video. It'll put the two together and you'll understand what's going on. But before we dive into this video, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. So I'm gonna give an overview for those who did watch the video. Just remember it was a four-parter, but we're only gonna go through three parts. And we remember, the first part was foundation, growth begins where comfort ends. Second was mastery is the moving target. Third was systems, not just individuals. So we're gonna go through the 5 points in foundation, which the first one was, for my insight, was personality is a default. And because your personality is your default, you need to develop your character. And the reason you need to develop your character, because when life hits the fan, you'll be able to minimize the mistakes you make from the choices and decisions, and you'll be able to live out the values that you want to embody, which will make life if you're in the corporate space, work way easier. And I'm saying that because I have an example. When I first got my big boy job, graduating in 2020, during the pandemic, I didn't have the interpersonal skills. I lacked in that area. Like, I'm a funny guy. I'm fun. You can connect with me. You would want to be my friend, but when it came to like connecting with our subcontractors, our vendors, and our customers, like, it was a headache because I didn't know how to talk to them. I would talk to them in a rude way, or I would say something that was like more of a jab because they said something to me that triggered me, and they're like, where's this coming from? That's because I'm not taking a step back and reflecting on my own and be like, okay, they probably didn't say that as a personal attack. They're probably just talking in a way that they know best when it comes to business, and I got to understand how to decipher that so I can come back with a better response. And then also just be vulnerable. Like, hey, I don't even like how you said that to me. That kind of actually hurt my feelings. Which sometimes when people say something, it does hurt your feelings, and you need to speak up about it. So that's a reason that developing your character traits within your personality is very important. So now we're going to talk about the key point number 3, which is procrastination. So if you remember, procrastination is emotional avoidance. You have to face what you rather avoid, because if you're always trying to avoid the emotions that come from taking action, you'll never create success. And I say that because one day I had just got done talking to my broker. I'm excited, just passed my real estate exam probably like a few weeks ago. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm in there. And then a little voice just comes in my head and says, hey, you don't have to do anymore. You're all right. You already got the license. You don't have to read. You don't have to do the extra work. And then it almost made me not do anything. But then I thought about, sit back and reflect, gave myself a moment and realized, like, to elevate, to get my PhD in real estate, I'm going to have to go the extra mile and do more, and to put myself out there if I want to see the success that I'm looking for. If I really want to use real estate as a place to make an impact, because you can if you do it the right way. There's a bunch of different grants out there you can do for like redevelopment. There's Section 8, which I don't know if I really get into that, but there's other areas of opportunity that you can create for others to help strengthen the community. Because real estate, if you can utilize it in its proper manner, you can make an impact and make a lot of money, which is nothing wrong with making a lot of money and making an impact. So let's talk about key point number 5, which is honesty equals loyalty. Keep the main thing, okay? And what I mean by that, you need to communicate at the highest level possible. You need to communicate every day, because if you're not using your communication skills, guess what? It's dying. So if you're not using something that's dying, you're going to stumble over your words. You're not going to be able to articulate your vision that you have for yourself and other individuals. And I say communicate at the highest level, which you might think doesn't make sense, but it actually does. Because if you can communicate at the highest level, you can decipher the thoughts that run through your head that are negative or neutral. Neutral thoughts aren't really good, because you know why? They don't help you get closer to your goal. They kind of keep you where you are. Compared to a negative thought, it takes you down. where you want to be here. So you need positive thoughts. So you need to learn how to decipher those neutral and negative thoughts, because the better you can articulate yourself, like I mentioned earlier, to others about the vision that you have for yourself in others, because you need people included inside your vision, because the more you help others see themselves in the best upright manner that you can, the better they are, and it makes you better, because you're able to connect, communicate, you're able to help other individuals, then people want to help you achieve your dreams and goals, and it's reciprocity. You want reciprocity in a community, because if you have a reciprocity going on, it's like an ecosystem. The more people you got contributing to the community, the more success, the more opportunities, the stronger the community becomes, and the more cohesion, and it's going to be hard to break a community. So if you have that, it's going to be hard for people to break what you got going on, because you've strengthened the relationships that you have. So now we're going to talk about part 2, which is mastery as a moving target. For those of you who watched the previous video of unfolding your hidden potential, there's 4 key points in here. The first one is set high, clear targets. The second one is use mental time travel. The third one is be kind to yourself. And the fourth one is find joy in harmonious practice. And then plateaus aren't failures. They are signals to change course. Unlearn what's no longer serving you. And I like this quote, which I got it from Sniper in the Military, which is, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And then I like this little saying that I don't know if I came up with it or what I got it from, but it's basically, mastery isn't linear, it's adaptive. So now we're going to drop into the 4 key points and give you some insights on them. Let's go. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the first key point and the first insight, which is set high, clear targets that fuel motivation and direction. The first insight is, without having to stretch yourself to hit high targets, you won't progress effectively, because you aren't navigating those uncomfortable territories, which is needed daily. And what that means is you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations on a daily basis to figure out what your strengths, your weaknesses are, what obstacles you can hit straight on, what obstacles you might have to take a step back and think strategically, if I need to go around it, go over it, go under it, or blow it up. And if you don't have that data on yourself, you can't even sniff what type of potential you have. So, and then also, if you need to reach out to somebody to get feedback, if you don't have that type of data or numbers, I like to say numbers because if you track your habits, that also can give you like insight of what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what processes and what systems you can implement, and what ones you might need to rearrange or blow up. If you can't give that to a person who can give you some unbiased, constructive criticism, they can't help you move forward either. So with that insight, I hope it gave you more understanding of what set high, clear targets mean and how they fuel motivation and direction. So now we're going to talk about the 4th key point, which is find joy in harmonious practice, deliberate play, excitement, breaking down skill with variety, insight. Remember to have fun along the journey, because Allah has given you that day and you aren't guaranteed tomorrow. You have to put your greatest effort into everything you do, because you need to become a pro at whatever it is. And I say that because you have to have intention. In Arabic, intention means niyyah. You gotta have high niyyah. If you got high intentions, you'll have higher efforts. You'll put greater effort forth toward what you're doing. You'll start to develop a purpose behind what you're doing. At that point, it's not about you anymore. It's about the community. It's about the ummah. That means community in Arabic. So the more that you have that divine perspective of everything you do, it actually gives you a little bit more energy to do these different things. Like for me, I felt like I was kind of pulling myself to do YouTube videos. But once I realized and reframed my mind, like, I am giving out knowledge from the books I've read. I'm correlating them to different things that people might have been thinking about, or just didn't know where to start, or just to feel like they're heading in the right direction, because sometimes life can get difficult and sometimes you get stagnant and you feel like, am I even going the right way? Which can be a little bit scary from time to time. But Having that good intention behind what you're doing makes you go a long way. If you have consistency, perseverance, resiliency, which is kind of the same as perseverance, but if you have ambition and you're confident and you have a relationship with Allah, anything's possible. So now we're going to talk about part 3, which is called Systems, Not Individuals, which has 3 key points, 2 key messages. The first key point is the best systems lift people those society overlooks. 2 is Finland's education system thrives because it believes in every student. It helps build strong values, autonomy, and practices. 3rd is the U.S., we're still learning. We need to redesign systems to help serve potential in that status. The 2 key points are collaboration unlocks growth. Even the best teams elevate their weakest links. Not all leaders are loud. Even introverts with pro-social skills drive deeper impact. And the 2nd key point is brainwriting over brainstorming. Even the quietest minds have the best ideas. So let's dive into each key. So now we're going to talk about the first key point, which is the best systems uplift those society overlooks. In the insight, I play football, so I'm going to use this as an example. Hopefully most of you guys know who Tom Brady is. If not, go research him after I explain who he is and why it correlates. He was the last pick in the NFL 1997 draft, Mr. Irrelevant. Nobody was thinking about the man. But because of the Patriots systems that they had, they were able to draft somebody at the end of the NFL 1997 draft and then produce a greatest of all time, 7-time Super Bowl winner in NFL history. And that's all because of the systems that they had. If you paid attention to the Patriots and how they ran their organization, yes, they got big names. Yes, they went out and did that. But they drafted people who would fit into their system and succeed. They didn't always go after those big names who weren't good teammates, wasn't good off the field, maybe only good on the field, but it still affected them because they wouldn't buy into the mindset and the program that Bill Belichick had at that time. But because of the systems of having a good defense, already at the time having a good quarterback, Tom Brady able to sit down, I think he maybe sat behind him maybe for 2 years and learn. He was able to hop in once he got hurt in the playoffs and help them win another 2 Super Bowls. And that's because of the system they had. Without the system, I don't know if I think maybe Tom Brady would have flourished regardless because the man was fearless and his work ethic was crazy. But I think having a system still played a pivotal point in his growth at the beginning. Now, yes, he did go to the Buccaneers and win a Super Bowl. He did do that. So he proved himself that he can win it. That is all the key points. I told you I would get this video, guys, out to you. I'm a little late on it, but I hope you take a lot from it. And comment below so we can get thoughts going, bouncing things off, having discussions, and building up and helping each other think differently and to move ourselves forward. I think it would be pretty cool. And also hit that subscribe button for me. Let's grow the channel. Let's make an impact. Let's create influence. Let's do this. Peace.